What is good, everyone? Saiyan Survivor bringing you another Guilty Gear Strive video today, and we are talking about this week's Developer's Backyard, actually. And there's a lot of new information that came out. Obviously, as you can tell from the title, we do have a second beta coming up. We'll get to that shortly. But first, if you haven't already, hit the like button for this video and smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell whenever I upload new videos just like this. Talk about, of course, Guilty Gear Strive. And alright. Let's get down to it. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get down to this Developer's Backyard. This is actually the 5th volume of it, and we already got this thing pretty ready. This is coming from Akira Katano. So he's the guy that was answering the questions from I think the Tokyo event that happened a month or two ago, and obviously you can tell he took a pretty big beating from everyone's response. And I thought this number here of the people that answered the survey was actually small, but according to Max, this is actually really big for anime fighting game. This is probably a quarter of the people that played the beta, so that's actually really good. I have 51,000 responses for an anime game that's not for like a major adaptation of a big series, so this is pretty good. So let's get down to it right here. So which characters did you use the most during the open beta test? And as you can see right here, all the way we see Ramathal over here. In Japan, Ramathal was first. In Asia, it's Seoul. North America, Europe, and Oceania, all Ram as well. But South America, number 1 is Giovanna. Obviously, Giovanna is a Brazilian character, so that's no surprise there why she's number 1. Seoul and Kai are constantly ranked in the top 5, with the lowest out of any of them being 4th. And we have Giovanna and Nagoriyuki running out number 5 in all the regions. Very consistent of who is in the top 5: Ramathal, Seoul, Kai, Giovanna, and Nagoriyuki. As here, which character do you like the most? And very surprisingly, to the shock of no one, Ramathal number 1. Obviously, she's the most busted and great and probably the best character in the game. I do have Potekum as the best for me personally in my tier list. If you guys want to check that out at the end of the video, go do that after you're done watching this. And only Potekum is actually 5th in Oceania, but it's really consistent where we have here. Obviously, Seoul right here. The worst he's placed was 4th, and that's in Europe. And Kai didn't make it in Oceania. That's crazy. But obviously, and South America, you have Milia and Nagoriyuki. Mei made it number 4 in Japan, so that's a little like outliers right there. But constantly, we have Ramathal, Giovanna, Nago, Kai, and Seoul. So not surprising to see Ramathal there, but a little surprising that some of these other characters did make it in there. But here's what Katano said: we asked for the characters everyone played most and their favorites separately, but the answer were more or less similar for both. Ramathal is extremely popular in every region, it seems. Obviously, she's the most busted, but that might change depending what happens in the next beta and when the final release of the game does come out. It's pretty unusual for the Guilty Gear series to have a new character placed highly in popularity rankings, but Giovanna is quite popular outside of Asia. The results were really interesting, especially the differences between regions. Yeah, obviously, she's the most exotic, most coolest looking character out there. Hopefully they do improve on her. If not, I could see her dropping. But this is basically the new Baiken, until Baiken does come out, but we'll see when that happens, which may not be for a while. You should probably watch out for a video talk about DLC characters that's coming fairly soon. Just giving you guys a heads up. So you can see right here, please rate the following modes. Versus mode, very high. Tutorial mode, it's a good consistent rating, but not exactly the best, mostly average. Network mode, basically the online lobbies. Look, the amount of disapproval, very bad and bad. It was not very well received at all. I felt like people were giving it a little bit leeway if they put bad instead of going to very bad. Oh my god, it was terrible. Network mode, quick match. It fared a little better, but apparently from what I heard, when you go to quick match mode, it's actually putting you back in the lobby system, and you gotta wait for someone to come up to you and match with you by coming up to you and match. But it's interesting how that works, but I'm not entirely sure how it works. Maybe they'll adjust that later on, but hopefully it's not too bad. And training mode ranked really well, almost as good as versus mode. So let's see what Katano says. Perhaps the versus mode received a high rating due to the option to rematch without extra loading time. It didn't get as much playtime, however, likely due to the effects of COVID-19. I'm pretty sure it'll still be high regardless though. Tutorial mode received mixed reactions, seeing some praise it for the unique freedom it gives the player as opposed to a traditional textbook style explanation. Others, however, point out that it lacks explanations needed for an introduction to the game. Yeah, it was just very basic. It's basically telling you like hit this button, hit that button. I was expecting it to be more in depth, but it wasn't. But I'm gonna explain why in a minute why it wasn't. Our intent for the tutorial mode in DGST is to show the player that they can enjoy fighting games without having to study. That's kind of the opposite effect of what a tutorial mode should be, but anyway, we intentionally left out explanations of game mechanics and different uses for each attack button. I don't know why you do that. I guess they wanted to throw them in the box like, okay, you don't have to learn this, but by the way, learn it on the go. So they basically want the player to discover and try to adapt and learn how to play the game by just throwing them out there, which I guess it's okay, but that's kind of defeats the purpose. In our previous games, players new to the fighting genre would need to put in some practice in order to complete the tutorial. Obviously, that should be the case. We checked the results data and replays from the first floor of the rank tower and saw many matches where neither player used special moves of every game mechanic. Yeah, because if you don't know everything that's going about, unless you watch the videos or the tutorials of what to do for the game, you wouldn't know anything about that. We will brush up on the finer aspects of this mode, but for the most part, we felt this style of tutorial was successful. For the bare minimum, it did, but it didn't really accomplish what a lot of people were hoping. So, a little bit contradictory right there, but anyway. Also in the finished game, the mission mode will include the missions for practicing game mechanics such as wall break and roam mechanics combos for each character, as well as a variety of techniques players who want to develop deeper into various mechanics of or level up their game can look forward to that. So basically it's going to be like the better tutorial mode, the mission mode. So basically try to like do everything. So it's basically a challenge mode. And I hope it comes out pretty good. The online lobby is the area from the test we need to work on the most. Yes. They should have learned this from the first beta, but I guess they didn't improve as much as they thought they did. And have to determine needs to be improved before release. Even aside from server issues, it was difficult to use and hard to understand how it worked. Although we continually worked on internal improvements following last year's closed beta test, we realized that we let everyone down. This part actually made me feel bad. I'm like, we told you guys it was bad, and you guys didn't quite did the job that you were hoping you to do. So that kind of sucks. That actually kind of like tore my heart a little bit. We're sorry, we have to tell you it's bad, but we want you to do better. So this is good that we're giving them this criticism so they can do better. So this is how they're gonna fix it. Changing to a system where players select a visible area where they want to have rematch. Where they want to have a match. So basically, like the cabinets and the arcade systems where they have in the previous Guilty Gear games and previous ArcSys games. After winning a match, the player stays where they are in battle ready state unless their rating changes. Adding a rematch option. The fact that this had to be added makes you think that they probably weren't gonna do a rematch option, which is kind of mind-boggling, because why would you not want to have a rematch option? It's crazy. So thank you, Seiya, for pointing that out, making everyone realize like we have to get on these developers on this, because if not, they're not gonna do it. Remember, the UI was just a placeholder. The lobby that we eventually got was supposed to be an April Fool's joke. It actually became the real lobby. So we kind of gotta get on these guys to make sure that we're getting what we want and make sure that we get improvements and tell them this is a bad idea and you guys gotta do better. Expanding the area in each lobby, adding an option to hide the news display. Thank God, because that did not need to take out literally like almost 2/3 of the screen. It did not. And adding a dash movement for avatars. so our avatars can freaking like dash. That's funny. I can't wait for that. So even though we can't slide, it's kind of funny that they're actually making us making the option to give us a dash movement. So insert air dashing for avatars is pretty cool. I cannot wait for that. This will make the lobbies more like those in our other games. However, systems such as moving floors when your rating changes and the option to enter training mode while waiting for a match will remain. I think that's a good idea. We would like to conduct another beta test once these fixes are ready. So yes, the freaking beta is coming. Another one is coming. Hopefully that'll be coming at least the end of this month, which is April, or early May. At least a month or so before the release of Strive. So get ready for that. So I'm happy that we're getting a second beta. I'm super excited. I cannot wait to see these changes. And hopefully we get Angie and Eno coming out too, so we can get their hands on them. Although the training mode was praised for the number of options available, players also noted that the menu was difficult to understand. Kind of. It's just that there was a lot. I thought it was very basic, but when you're trying to look for something, it didn't give you the exact option. So there is improvements there. We are looking into ways to improve the visibility of the menus for all menus. So can't wait for that. So this is the thing that got the most praise. Everything from the character visuals, character animation, stage graphics, round start, wind screen visuals, visual direction of the camera movement. Now we're gonna see a little bit of complaints. Battle effects, battle systems. Actually, that's the lowest. Actually, that's kind of interesting. It didn't get very good. It got good, more good than anything else here, but I think there are some improvements there. BGM, very surprisingly, I'm thinking now that everyone complained on Twitter about the background music might have been just the vocal minority, as like more people actually liked the vocal tracks more than they're letting on. So very interesting there. Sound effects and voices, very high. This is actually very good. I love hearing that. Like they're all exceeding above 80% into 90%. Really great to see. Really great to see. We asked for opinions on several aspects of the game. There was a forum to write freely about your thoughts. Let's take a look at some of the opinions and requests we came across a lot. First, regarding the visual effects, we received many comments stating that the game looks good, but there are issues with visibility, and particularly many players encounter issues with characters blending into the background and being difficult to see. Obviously, like some stages are really hard to see and they've been in the background. I think the forest stage and the snow stage, it was kind of hard to see your own character, especially when it did the counter movement. So, as well as losing track of the character's positions due to the camera effects, I would just say because of the counter movement. With GGST, we're trying our hands at using effects and visuals that are thoughts of a taboo when developing fighting games. The current state of the game is the basis for our general direction, and we are still working on refining and improving it. So we're going to probably see more improvements in the next beta. As far as issues with the character visibility, we're looking into adding a setting so that each player can adjust it for their needs. So cool. So we're going to probably see like maybe some color aspects to make it more better, but we'll see when that happens. As for the music, we received many requests from players who want to be able to select songs from previous Guilty Gear titles. In the retail version of GGST, you'll be able to purchase them with in-game currency, select them as your BGM. So that's really cool. So we get to see old Guilty Gear music in Strive, such as Accent Core and Xrd and Double X and the original Guilty Gear. So that'll be really cool to see. So I cannot wait for that. And a lot of players that are new to the series are going to probably discover amazing songs from past games. So that's really exciting to see. Next, let's discuss the battle system. This covers so many topics it may be difficult to answer on the survey. Answers on this topic have the most variation depending on what other games players have experience with in the region. Let's take a look at some of the most frequently mentioned key phrases from everyone's answer. The damage is too high. Many players commented that the damage is too high. There were also many concerns that this is not just a problem with the game balance, but also takes away the fun of pulling off damage combos. Kind of, but especially when you pull off a combo, you want to finish it in the end of killing them. That does kind of kill it, but I don't know. That is the intention for them to do high damage. After hearing your feedback, we plan to adjust the damage so that it is more suitable for how often and how difficult it is to land each attack. In general, however, the damage will remain high as that is part of GGST's design. So obviously, they're going to just adjust damage to the point where it's low, but probably low where you can actually finish a combo and get the kill when you finish the combo. So that'd be cool. It could be said that part of the appeal of Guilty Gear series is the tension and exhilaration felt during the fast-paced matches in previous titles. However, the player could only experience this after practicing and learning complicated combos. The length of the average combo is much shorter than in GGST, so that more players than before can experience this. This is why the overall damage is set high, including the first single hits, like the counter. This is also generally influenced by this direction, such as reconsideration of the frequency of the combo. In general, we're analyzing many replays from the test beta, and we feel that the game mechanics are overall successful. We are adjusting the games so that simple combos and situation combos each have their own merits, not limited to damage, but also in terms of meter efficiency and the situation you're in after the combo. So we'll see about that. Run mechanics are interesting, but I feel limited by the meter use. So basically, this is saying that like you're able to pull off the combo, but you kill your opponent fast enough where you're not able to use your roll cancel to do it or pull it off. So this is what they're gonna do. Taking this into consideration, we have reconsidered the general rules surrounding the meter game. We didn't simply increase the game meter, but you should be able to use your meter more freely overall. Basically, before you're able to gain your tension is just like 2 bars, so I guess they're gonna make it to 3 bars, so it's gonna take a third of your tension bar to pull off for my cancel. So it could open up more combo routes, I'm assuming, if they're able to pull it off right, but it's gonna be really interesting to see how they're gonna do it. So I think we're definitely gonna get 3 tension meters to use overall, so I cannot wait for that. I don't think they're gonna do 4. I think that'd be too much, but we'll see. But it depends on how they're gonna implement the variations and how warm accounts are gonna like take up meters. So we're gonna see. Jumping is too strong. Definitely. That is really harsh anti-air in this game. Many players felt that the neutral game was lacking due to the grounded anti-airs being too weak, while aerial options were too strong, making jumping a common choice. I was definitely jumping a lot in the freaking beta, like, oh my god. We also determined that this needed improvement and had made significant changes. I can't explain for each individual character, but this is one point that would be very noticeable difference from the open beta test. So basically, Ramapal mains do not expect to get easy jump in attacks very easily. That's all I'm saying. And Potekin mains too. Some characters had access to infinite combos. So this is the complaint about infinites. We are planning to deal with this, adjusting the game mechanics in addition to characters balance so that these combos don't end up as the most viable option. For example, hitting an opponent with the same move more than a certain number of times would make them float less. So obviously Soul's Vortex move, you can't keep doing that and you keep getting the same result. This set number would be different depending on the moves. We don't want to completely get rid of all the combos, so we choose to increase the ways we can balance the game. So they're keeping it, but you won't be able to do it. Maybe like 2-3 loops max, depending where you are on the screen, hopefully. So can't for that. Soul Geo means you're gonna have to learn possibly new combo routes. Please rate the comfort of online battle. Look how great that is, and I'm very surprised that there's a little amount of people that do not play online. And look how, I want to know who the people are that voted bad to very bad. I want to like smack those people, so it's probably very small percentage, but it's crazy to see. The rollback was highly praised. We saw many matches between different countries and regions. However, in some instances, matches could be quite unstable and sometimes becoming incredibly slowed down. We will be working on adjustments and improvements as the game approaches. I think that only happened like between like Wi-Fi players and possibly Wi-Fi players, but it depends like where they are. So I guess they're making adjustments. Now here's like the the kicker here, the most interesting part. Everyone was figuring out like, what was the delayed fix for this rollback that they implemented to get, and this is what they said: 1 frame, which is insane, which is very ballsy. And the fact that it was 1 frame and everyone had great connection, that's great. It's so insane. A lot of people have said this is the greatest rollback game that they played for a fighting game. So for it to be 1 frame is insane. Some players confuse the rollback frames displayed for the input delay. However, the input delay was locked at 1 frame. As mentioned in the previous background, we are still looking into whether we should allow the players to set their input delay based on the network connection and how to handle filtering network connection strength. We're hoping to conduct another beta test after fixing the bugs and improving the game system. We are planning to make these decisions after looking at the test results from that test. So I guess for the second beta, they're going to figure out how that's going to go. And right here, we're talking about the second beta. We are planning a second open beta test based on the players' feedback. The timing has yet to be determined. Obviously, I had mentioned earlier, it's going to probably be end of April, early May, somewhere around that, before the game comes out. So keep an eye out for future updates. So expect it kind of soon, maybe within a couple weeks. And I think that's it. Obviously, let's talk about Strive, when's the game going to come out, and whether or not you want to submit a topic for a future developer's backyard for them to answer. But obviously, the keynote here, we cannot answer inquiries regarding player characters that have yet to be announced. So don't expect them to announce any DLC characters yet. So overall, I'm pretty happy with this and how transparent they are. Another major gaming studio should probably take notes of how to conduct and communicate with their community better. I'm probably can't quite tell who you guys know I'm talking about, but I think you guys might get the hint. But besides that little complaint going out of topic, I think Arc System Works and also Capcom are doing a great job talking to their fan base, talking to their fans. And we should well, not we, but I think other fighting game studios should aspire to be like this, to be this transparent and communicative and showing us results of surveys. This is great. Thank you so much, Arc System Works, for this. I can't wait to play your second beta for Strive. Thank you very much for this. And that'll be it for this video. And if you like this video, hit that like button. And if you want more content like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button to get more good to your content, and hit the notification bell just so you won't miss anything out in the future. So thank you guys very much. Tell me down in the comments down below, what do you think of this? Are you happy with the results that they gave us? Obviously, I don't think there should be any complaints, but there's obviously some outliers. So let me guys know in the comments what you guys think. So that'll be it for this video today. This is Saiyan Survive signing out. I'll catch you in the next video.